Hi, I'm Sarah with Flipski Furniture, and here's another episode of updating other people's trash. I picked up this piece on the side of the road, and you could tell it was really badly painted. They painted right over this flower design without any sanding. You could see all of the drips. They painted over some hairs, which is a yuck pet peeve of mine. I wanted to try a new stripper. And so with the stripper, I generally like to do it outdoors unless it's a really clean green one that you can use inside. So you kind of just have this throwaway paintbrush that you're either going to dispose of properly or you're just going to kind of keep and use only for stripper. But you want to get a nice, even, thick coat on all of the surfaces. You should still wear gloves and use a mask if you're outdoors when you're using kind of these chemical strippers. So it did start crackling the paint. It looked like it should come off. It didn't come off that great. I did try it with a metal kind of scraper as well, which worked a little bit better. You can see there's at least 3 layers of paint here. So this kind of primer, blue, and then the brown over it. I ended up using a carbide scraper and then sanding, starting at 120, 180, and 220. I used a carbide scraper for the body of the piece, and you can see none of these surfaces are flat. It's kind of a couple of different panels of horizontal wood, so it did take a lot of elbow grease, but it still removed a lot of the finish before I needed to go in and sand. The benefit of having these kind of solid wood pieces as well is that you can actually sand out these deep scratches if you really have any. So again, I started with 120. I moved up to 180 grit and then ended at 220 grit, knowing that I wanted to do a paint wash over a stain. So satisfying watching these scratches disappear. I also needed to make some repairs on the body. So there's a big crack and kind of split here. So I just used my favorite titebond wood glue. This I find is generally good for most of the repairs I'm going to need. You do just need to make sure to get the glue really in there, sealed with clamps for about 8 hours. And then I did try something new on this piece. I used my daughter's sock to paint wash. It ended up being about a 1-to-1 in terms of paint to water. I didn't wipe it back in this case. Sometimes with a paint wash you will, but I really needed it to get inside of the indents of the drawer handles. So it was a lot easier to apply this way. So you can kind of use your fingers to get right in there. And here's the finished result. I'm loving the way this piece looks. It looks a little bit more like a Pottery Barn inspired piece. I did get some good close-ups of the drawers. You really wouldn't be able to tell that it was a paint wash versus a stain. It's giving all that beautiful wood grain, showing the beauty of the knots. So drop any questions you have in the comments and stay tuned for next episode.